Everybody, welcome to this edition of Stream On. I'm Jim Williams, your host. And today, we're going to be joined by Nada Arnot. Now, Nada is the general manager of Sundance Now, which, of course, is a premium service. And it's an outstanding one, frankly. If you like programming, as we all know you do, because if you listen here, you know you heard us talk about some of the great shows coming out of Canada, out of the UK, out of New Zealand, out of Australia. Well, Nada has done a very good job of putting together a tremendous amount of great content, not just from the, aforementioned countries, but there's a lot of US stuff there as well, and also some French and some Norwegian. I mean, it's really a good sampler of quality content from all around the globe. So we are joined today, as I said before, by Nada Arnot. And Nada, congratulations for the great success of Sundance Now. Let's talk a little bit about your new streaming service.
Yeah, and that's been a really big focus of ours right from the beginning, but particularly over the last couple of years as we started acquiring more and more series in particular. What we found was that our members were really, they enjoy, like anyone else, mainstream content, right? They enjoy some of the mindless content that's available, but what they really, really are looking for is this higher quality content that's not from North America or particularly from the U.S. because we bring in a lot of content also from Canada to the U.S. And it's a way of introducing really high quality shows that are probably number one hit shows elsewhere and bringing it home to the U.S. and the members really, really love it. And to your point, it's relatable, right? It's not incredibly dense. It's a common storyline that everyone can relate to, and oftentimes it's very much in the English language, so it's still easy to consume.
Well, one of the things that I think is that I'm finding fascinating with a bunch of these programs is how good the programming is from places like New Zealand. Who would have thought? New Zealand? I mean, some outstanding work. You've got new stuff coming in from New Zealand.
Yeah, we do. We have the golf, for example, which is coming in from New Zealand. It's being touted as New Zealand's Broadchurch. But there are some really, to your point, there's some really, really good programming in New Zealand, in Australia, obviously in the UK, and then in Canada. We bring in things from Norway, which we're bringing in actually later this year, a series called Wisting with Carrie-Anne Moss, and that's out of Norway as well. Really, really good programming that, to your point, who would have thunk, right? But really they've been working on it and they've been mastering that craft, and it's just that we haven't had that exposure to TV shows coming out of these countries before, and so this is a really great platform on Sundance Now to expose these other countries and their content to our audience.
The other stuff that's fun with that regard is that because the model, I guess would be the best way of putting it, for product and coming out of the UK and Canada and Australia, New Zealand, they don't do the 22 to 24 episodes a year. So not only is it quality content, but you can binge it without necessarily having to spend 3 days doing it.
Yeah, no, exactly. There are a lot of mini series or just shorter form content that's coming out there, 4 to 5 minute episodes, and they're incredibly captivating. So you do want to sit down and binge through it. That said, the way that we release content on Sundance Now, when we premiere it, we release it weekly so that we can bring our members along together in a synchronous fashion, right, to generate that conversation. But obviously, once the series is done being released, it's available for binge, and it has its availability then. But it's Yeah, exactly. It's in a format that is definitely bingeable if you have the time and availability to sit down.
One of the things, I don't know about you, but in my case, if there's a show I like and I see, like, I've watched one or two of them, um, I'll always want to go back and watch it again. It may be
Hmm.
2 months from now, it may be whatever, but you do have a tendency, or at least I have a tendency, to going back and liking the idea that I can catch back up on something I really enjoyed.
Absolutely. And we have a lot of series that we've signed on for subsequent seasons as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Right.
we find a lot of our members, and I'm like you, where I'll
Mm-hmm.
either just go back because I really love the series and I want to
Right.
re-experience it or see it from a different perspective, but also just to refresh my memory in advance of a new season coming up. Discovery of Witches is one season
Mm-hmm.
or one series that did incredibly well for us. It's another one that came out of the UK.
Mm-hmm.
It's based off of a really popular series by Deborah Harkness, the All Souls trilogy, and the fan base is absolutely wild about that series. Not only the books, but also the TV series, and we have multiple cohorts of members that consume that series multiple times. I kid you not, 4 to 5 times we've seen them rewatch that season because it's so great. And then we have season 2 coming next year and season 3 coming in 2021. And so there's plenty of catch-up opportunities. But that's the type of content that people can keep re-experiencing without getting bored of it.
Well, I'm personally a fan of Unspeakable.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's such, and I am Canadian, and I actually remember when that scandal hit. But yeah, it was one of the largest medical disasters ever in the history of Canada. And it's not just, to your point earlier about being relatable, it's not just something that could happen in Canada. It's really a medical disaster that could happen anywhere in the world. And just to refresh everyone's memory, it happened in the 80s during the AIDS epidemic, and people were donating blood, but the Canadian healthcare system hadn't properly screened the blood to ensure that it was untainted, and so they were giving this tainted blood to people in need of blood transfusions, right? People with medical conditions, either they were in accidents or had medical conditions that required this blood transfusions, and they were being contaminated with blood that had HIV or hepatitis C. And so it became this massive scandal, but also health epidemic. And it's incredibly heart-wrenching to hear the stories of the people who went through this. But it's very, very well done.
Yeah, there's a lot of outstanding work on the channel, and as well as some, obviously there's movies and pretty much a little bit of everything. I mean, and the price point is such that it's a great bargain. I think for what you're charging and what you're getting, it is absolutely if you don't have it, go out and get it now. I'm telling you, folks, you get it. You don't want it. One of the great things about being in your position is you get to pick things. What are some of your favorite things to watch on the channel?
Well, a couple of my favorite ones that are on the channel right now is a series called The Restaurant. And it is foreign language, but and it's post-war, but it's so glossy and it's romantic. It's the cinematography is fantastic. The sets are fantastic, but it's also just this beautiful storyline about love, while also in a post-war setting, which is really great. And it's a feast for your eyes and also for your heart. And then another favorite of mine that's coming up actually this month on November 21st, we're premiering. It's called Cheat. And it is also out of the UK. It's a psychological thriller. This one's only 4 episodes, an hour each, so it's essentially an extended movie if you backed it all together.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about bingeable. It's really centered around this relationship between a professor and her student, and the student allegedly cheated on an assignment and is caught doing so. But that's just the beginning, and the student takes the allegation to extreme ends and just torments the professor and her family's lives to incredible extents. And so it's just this great storyline that essentially culminates in, I'll leave it at this, at fatal consequences in the final episode. But it's incredibly captivating. So super excited to have that come to Sundance Now this month.
It's that time of year when people are going to be around for the holidays and just sitting down and wanting stuff to do. So let's talk a little bit about what we can find on Sundance coming up in in November, December, and beyond.
Yeah, so Cheat is coming this month, as I mentioned, right. And then we have The Gulf, which is the title I just mentioned, coming out of New Zealand. That's coming on December 5th. Following that, we're releasing a series on December 12th called Wisting, and that's with Carrie-Anne Moss. She's from the Matrix trilogy, Chocolat, good Canadian, and that's a crime drama out of Norway. That's really interesting. It's sort of this twisted Nordic noir story, and it's based on Jorn Horst novels. And so it's about a New York-based FBI agent working alongside the Norwegian police, and the Norwegian police detective's name is Wisting, and they're all focused on trying to catch a serial killer from the U.S. So it's incredibly enthralling. So that's a really exciting one that will come mid-December, and then we're also just packaging up all of our best dramas of the year, because we do know this, as the days get shorter, the weather gets colder in most parts of North America. We know that people like to just sort of hunker down with their family by themselves and just consume a ton of content. And so we're packaging up a lot of our best dramas of the year into a campaign for our members to just consume. So obviously Riviera is going to be part of it, which is a really great series for us. We had season 2. It features Julia Stiles, about an art curator in Riviera in France, and sort of the underworld of that industry. And it's a really great glossy sort of crime thriller. So that'll be part of it. We'll have Discovery Witches part of it. Obviously, Cheat will be part of it. Name of the Rose, which was a great series that came to Sundance Now in August, will be part of it. That's based off of the best-selling novel by Umberto Eco. Over 50 million copies of that book were sold, and so this is the adaptation of that, and really sort of true to that novel. And it's 8 episodes, 45 minutes each. Really, really great, featuring Rupert Everett and John Turturro. So all of that will be nicely packaged for people to consume, so they don't have to think about what they want to watch. Everything that's curated in that collection is going to be great for the cold winter days
and nights.
And
get
nights.
Your popcorn ready. Yeah, get your popcorn ready. One last one. I'm gonna throw one in, just because it's one of my favorites. It's an underappreciated film, I think, and that's Midnight in Paris. It's a Woody Allen film with Rachel McAdams and Owen Wilson. It is absolutely one of Woody Allen's best films, and one that got very little publicity, but it's there and you should watch
it. Yeah, that's a great one.
Yep. So, all right, Nada. Thanks for coming by, and by all means, here's time for shameless plug. You've got plenty. You got a couple of minutes here. Anything else you want to get in about Sundance Now?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've covered a lot of it. It really is this great destination, particularly if you're a culture craving TV watcher and you're just really looking for something good to watch and you don't want to spend 30 minutes trying to find something to stream. Guaranteed anything that is featured on Sundance Now is going to be worth your time. So highly recommend you check it out. You can stream it on the web. You can stream it on all the main apps, iOS, Android, TV apps like Apple TV, your Amazon Fire Stick or Roku, Google Chromecast, or you can find us on Amazon Prime as an add-on channel as well. We're in Canada and the US as well as the UK. So highly recommend you swing by.
The other thing, folks, is it would make a great stocking stuffer. It's a very reasonable service, by all means. As I said before, you get a lot of bang for your buck here. So if you're thinking of stocking stuffers, get them a gift of Sundance Now. Nada, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Special thanks to Nada Arnot, General Manager of Sundance Now. By all means, it's an outstanding service. Give it a check. Go out there, take a look, take the 7-day trial, kick it around, see what you think, and I guarantee you're going to want to be a subscriber to Sundance Now. We'll be back with more of Stream On right after this from BMW. The i3, the best electric driving machine.
Life is about making decisions. At BMW i, we decided it was time to reinvent the car from the ground up, making sure we were open for truly innovative ideas. We decided that the car we wanted must be electric, and it should be made of extremely light and super strong carbon fiber. And finally, we decided to make it more intelligent and added our promise of incomparable driving pleasure. We made all these decisions to offer you a choice. The all-electric BMW i3.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, if you are one of the over 50,000 subscribers we have, thank you very much. If you're not, well, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, it's free and we make it simple. All you have to do is go to the App Store because we're part of the Apple Podcast family. You can check us out in the same way over at Google Play because we're happy to be part of the Google Podcast family. You can find us on Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify, as well as TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, and YouTube, to name a few. Now, for some reason you can't find us, not a problem. Just go on out, pull out your Google machine, and type in Stream On with Jim Williams, hit the favorite button or the subscribe button, and every week you're going to get a brand new edition of the podcast sent directly to your phone, your tablet, or to both, okay? So we make it simple. Please go out there, subscribe today. Now, we'd like to take a moment to thank our guest for today. That, of course, is the one and only Nada Arnot, the General Manager of Sundance Now. Be sure to check it out. We got all the information on Sundance Now right in the show box below. Okay, so check it out. Next week, we're going to speak to Lesley Manville. Now, Lesley is the star of the BBC hit comedy Mum, and she stopped by to join us. So Lesley and I talk about Mum, an outrageously funny BBC sitcom, which you can find on BritBox, okay? So until next time, I'm Jim Williams for the entire team here at Stream On, and we hope you have a wonderful and safe weekend. We'll catch you next time when Lesley Manville of Mum joins us right here. Until then, take care.